experienced or have you actually done any of these things in your business? The first one is that instant message response, almost as if you've been sitting there waiting for that email to come in. And then you immediately respond to the email within seconds or minutes. That just isn't natural. It isn't a normal part of business. And whilst you may be wanting an email to come in, to immediately respond to it can look as if you were just sitting there waiting and then wanting to push to the next level. So why not let those emails sit in, put an automation response on your emails and so that you check them once a day or twice a day. And don't feel under pressure yourself, but absolutely do not immediately fire an email back as if you've just been sitting there waiting for it, or you're pressuring someone into moving on to the next level. Have you ever had a conversation with someone where, without even them mentioning anything or talking about fees or anything else, you immediately offer them a discount? They've never mentioned it, they've never asked for it, but you just offer them a discount because you want them to come on board with you so much, because you want that first deal, you want that first cash in the bank. That kind of thing will put investors off offering discounts. Now, where discounts can work, and I have done that in our sourcing business, is if you're moving into a new strategy that your knowledge isn't as good as it should be on, and you offer a discount to an investor who's working with you in exchange for them teaching you how they assess that particular strategy. And we have used a discount in that way. But if you offer an unsolicited discount, or it's a very, very quick, would a discount help? If I discounted my fee 50%, would you agree to sign up? Is pushy. And if you push someone and they feel under pressure, only one thing is going to happen, and that is they're going to back off you and they're going to go into defensive mode, and it absolutely will not help your cause of getting that investor to sign up with you. Excessive numbers of follow-up messages. Emails, phone calls, text messages, social media messages, however else it can be done. Don't keep battering people with messages over different settings just because they're not responding to an email. If you've sent them an email, give them a few days to have a look and have a read of it. Use a system which will track if it's been opened, if you really want to know if they've opened it and seen it or not. If you haven't had a response in, say, 4 or 5 days, maybe drop them a text message and just ask them if they've received the email. Quite often these days, our emails that we're sending go into someone's spam folder, and not everyone checks the spam or the junk folder. So it could be quite by mistake they haven't seen your email. But don't email them, phone call, leave messages, text messages, and social media messages because they haven't got back to you, or because you feel that you have to do that level of communication. You don't. It is completely off-putting. Another thing is not to let that potential client take control of the situation. And what I've heard over the years and seen some agents do is they'll have that initial conversation with an investor, and the investor will ask to have a look at some of the documentation that they have to fill in, such as a contract, for argument's sake, or they question the process that agents have to take an investor through for anti-money laundering standards, for argument's sake, and start saying, well, I'll give you that information when I have a deal, or I'll hand that information over to the solicitor. There's no reason for you to have it. Or they'll look at your contract and say, I don't like that clause, take it out. So if you let a potential client control you and your business, you're going to struggle. And let's face it, if they are that non-understanding in the beginning, how awkward are they going to be going to be to deal with going forward. So skipping contracts, removing clauses out of contracts, altering contracts, or ignoring what you know your client due diligence and identification process should be to meet standards, just because someone won't work with you, if that's the case, from your perspective as an agent, is definitely a no-go area. And the other one, I think, and we can all be guilty of it, is when you're in a conversation, is you talking too much. You should never talk too much, and you shouldn't rush a conversation to get to the end and say, okay, are you going to come on board with me? The expectation of an immediate decision is there all across social media right now. We expect everything now, but actually quite often investors will almost stalk you for a period of time. They'll follow you on social media. They may exchange a few emails with you. They may have a telephone call or a Zoom call with you. They may want a few calls with you. They may want conversations with people that know you. It could take a while for that know, like, trust to build. So you having a telephone conversation with someone and then at the end of it expecting them to say, yeah, send me your contract, I'll sign up, let's start tomorrow, is unlikely to happen off that first conversation. So manage your expectation that you won't get an immediate decision, or at least you're unlikely to. I have known it, but not very often. Quite often, trying to rush the conversation or you talking too much, switch it off and listen and take note of what the person's saying. Quite often in what they're saying, there'll be hints around their position currently. Are they in a position to move forward now? Might there be a delay? It could be they're saying at the moment, I'm in the middle of a refurb development. So does that mean that they're ready to move forward, or are they just testing the ground just to see who you are and what you like? All of these things can be signs of desperation for business. And somebody who comes across as desperately wanting business is unlikely to get it, or at least not the sort that will convert to cash in the end anyway. So don't be willing to do absolutely anything to get that cash in the bank. Don't be in a great rush to achieve that first deal or whatever deal you're on. If you were the investor and someone did that with you, would you want to work with them? That's it for today. I'll see you again next week at the usual time.